All right, guys, so this is a little explanation on how to conjugate our new sets of verbs, which you will hear me refer to as the Dr. P verbs. And you should know by now why I refer to them if you watched the video on the vocab. So if you haven't done that, make sure you do that. Okay, so we are sticking with the past tense conjugation. And we are going to focus on the Dr. P verbs because they're special. All right. So, uh, in order to conjugate the Dr. P verbs, okay, the construction stays almost the same. So you do need a subject, right? Who did what? Then instead of present of avoir, you're going to conjugate your subject with the present of être. All right. And then you are going to form your past participle. So far, the only thing that's changing is the present of être. So, again, if you know the present of être, which you should by now, you are, I would say, not 2/3 of the way there, but halfway there. All right. So, this one, I forgot to put animation on it, but um, see if you can, in your head or on paper, conjugate the present of être with the subject pronouns. Sing the song if you have to. You can pause the video to jot down some notes and kind of like quiz yourself. And here we go. Je suis, I am, tu es, you are, il, elle est, he, she is, nous sommes, we are, vous êtes, yous are, ils, elles sont, they are. All right, so if you have this down and you are comfortable with this, you are halfway there. So the third part is the past participle, right? So first you're going to have your subject, the present of être, and you're going to add your past participle. For the most part, the past participles get formed the same way as we learned in the past, right? So if you have a regular ER verb, you're going to drop the ER, replace it with accent aigu. If you have an IR verb, you're going to drop the IR, replace it with I. And if you have an RE verb, you're going to drop the RE and replace it with you. So that doesn't change either. So that's kind of nice. We do have rebels. I will get to those a little bit later. So, right, verbs that don't follow this general rule here. The reason I said you were halfway there, if you knew this part of it, is because there is one more component when we conjugate in the past tense with the present of être, and that is that your past participle has to agree in gender and number with the subject. So this is the part that's new, and this is the part that's going to take the most practice. Okay. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, again, we have our subject, the present of être, and our past participle. And we said that our past participle has to agree in gender and number with the subject. So if your subject is masculine, singular, okay, what do you do to your past participle? You're going to do nothing. All right. So here's an example. Il est sorti de la classe. All right, so here we're conjugating le verbe sortir, which is part of our Dr. P verbs, with il singular. So here's my subject, okay? Here's my present of être conjugated with my subject. Here's my past participle. Sortir is not a rebel, so we went ahead and dropped the IR to replace it with I. We don't have to do anything to our past participle because our subject is masculine singular. Now, if your subject is masculine plural, you're going to add an S to your past participle. So here's another example. Finn et Caden sont descendus dans le sous-sol. So my subject is Finn et Caden, which could be replaced by the subject pronoun il plural, which means that my subject is masculine plural. I'm going to conjugate être with il plural, or Finn et Caden sont. Form my past participle. So here we are conjugating the verb descendre, which is an RE verb. So I dropped the RE, replaced it with you. And now because my subject is masculine plural, I'm going to go ahead and add an S to reflect that. Okay? If my subject is feminine singular, well, think about how we normally make something feminine. That's right, we add an E to our past participle. So, example here, Kyla est arrivée en retard. So Kyla is my subject, and we could replace Kyla with elle singular. We're going to go ahead and conjugate être with Kyla. For my past participle of arriver, which is a regular ER verb, so I went ahead and dropped the ER, replace it with accent aigu. And because my subject is feminine singular, I went ahead and added an E. Okay, and then finally, if your subject is masculine plural, you're going to go ahead and add ES. Okay, so you take the feminine form and you make it plural by adding the S. So, les filles sont allées au restaurant. So, les filles is our subject, the girls. We're going to conjugate the present of être with that. So, it takes the sont form. Okay. Then aller is forms the past participle the regular way. So, drop the ER, replace it with accent aigu. And because my subject is feminine plural, I'm going to add ES. Okay, so those are simple examples. Anything that is a plural subject like nous, vous, and obviously il, elle is going to be in the plural form. If it's specified, if the gender is specified, then you would have to, add an ES if it's feminine or just an S if it's plural. So we're going to do a lot of practice with this. It requires, thinking one more step into the process, but you will eventually get it. Okay. So, of course, I said I would talk about our rebels. So here they are. Sorry, I forgot to add some animation. So we have 5 rebels in our Dr. P verbs, but if you know venir, then you know devenir and revenir. So really, we need to remember maybe 3 things. All right. So venir, the past participle is venu. So you drop the IR, replace it with you. Okay. Devenir, well, we just go ahead and add the DE in front of it. Devenu. Revenir is going to be revenu. Naître, just like I pointed out in the vocab video, we learned this back when we were in Unit 1, when we learned I was born. Né. And then mourir is mort. All right. So the rule, though, here doesn't change. So because they get conjugated with the present of être, so remember, in front of this here, you're going to have a subject and the present of être conjugated with that subject. This is just our past participle. The rule still applies that you have to make sure that your past participle agrees in gender and number, which means that for here, if your subject was to be masculine plural, you go ahead and you take your past participle and you add an S. Feminine singular, add an E. Feminine plural, add an ES. Same thing for this one, same thing for this one. And the same goes for these 2 also. So masculine plural, add an S. Feminine singular, add an E. Feminine plural, add an ES. And the same goes for mort. Masculine plural, add an S. Feminine singular, add an E. And feminine plural, add an ES. So make sure you come back and refer to these notes as you complete the assignments. Either this video or I've also uploaded just the Google slide so you don't have to listen to my voice every time you need to get something done. All right, so this is it. Let me know if you have questions.